Last year, Sarcoidosis UK launched its Research Innovation Awards, a programme looking to fund medical research, including expanding the understanding of sarcoidosis, improving diagnosis and prognosis, discovering new and better treatments, addressing quality of life issues for those living with sarcoidosis, and a better understanding of the epidemiology of the disease. It was the first time in some years that Sarcoidosis UK has funded research, and we look forward to continuing offering grants in years to come. And I'm joined today by Dr. Claire Rice, whose application for last year's Research Innovation Award was successful. Claire is a consultant neurologist and associate professor in neuroinflammation at the University of Bristol and North Bristol NHS Trust. So congratulations on the award, Claire.
Thank you very much. We're absolutely thrilled to receive this. Really excited to get our research in neurosarcoidosis off the ground. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Now, the grant application is titled Cell-Free DNA in Tears as a biomarker for sarcoidosis affecting the eye and the nervous system. Now, could you simplify that for me, for a lay audience and for our patient community?
For sure, yeah, thank you. So our application and our project will focus on trying to improve the diagnosis of neurosarcoidosis. So neurosarcoidosis, as you may well know, affects the brain and spinal cord in particular, and the diagnosis of neurosarcoidosis can be quite delayed because sarcoid and its tissue manifestations, how it looks under the microscope and how the diagnosis is confirmed, that's quite a challenge to establish when the disease affects the brain and spinal cord. So sometimes brain biopsies and so on are done, but they tend to be a last resort because they're quite an invasive procedure for the patient. Because the diagnosis can be delayed, though, that means that outcomes can be quite difficult for people with neurosarcoidosis because it can stop them getting onto the right treatment in a timely fashion. So what we want to try and do is improve that by making the diagnosis easier and less invasive for the patient. We know that when neurosarcoidosis affects the brain and spinal cord, the lacrimal gland in the eye is often involved as well. And so what we want to do is look at the fluid that's secreted from that gland, tears essentially, and see if there are any markers in that fluid that can guide us towards a diagnosis of neurosarcoidosis. In particular, what we're looking for is something called a liquid biopsy. And really what that means is it is fragments of cells of genetic material that can be picked up in bodily fluids that are easier to obtain than tissue such as the brain and spinal cord. And those fragments of cells and their genetic material and other molecular components, they form like a footprint of cells that have been there and been active in that fluid. And that's really what we want to try and use to fingerprint, if you like, a diagnosis of neurosarcoidosis from tears.
How do you actually take that sample then?
So we put a little bit of, it's a little bit like tissue paper, just in the bottom lid of the eye, and let some capillary action, just a little suction that works through the tissue paper, gently blot the tear fluid out. So it's a little bit uncomfortable. I wouldn't say it's usually, frankly, painful. It feels a little bit odd. And for people who've worn contact lenses and things like that, it's extremely easy. But for others, it can feel a little bit peculiar. But it's much less invasive than having a general anaesthetic and a brain biopsy.
Sort of what are you actually hoping to find then from this? What's your sort of a dream output for this?
So what we'll be doing is comparing the fluid and the components within that fluid. We'll be comparing it from people suspected of having neurosarcoidosis or with a confirmed diagnosis of neurosarcoidosis, and comparing it against fluid taken from people who have other neuroinflammatory conditions, so multiple sclerosis, for example, but also control subjects, so friends and acquaintances who turn up to appointments with patients will also be asked if they would mind donating a sample so that we can compare it with people who don't have a neuroinflammatory condition. And what we hope to see is, first of all, a difference in the quantity of these different cellular fragments and components. And then later on, if our analysis goes well, we also hope to do some more detailed drilling down into the contents of that fluid so that we can actually find a very distinct pattern that will help us make a unique diagnosis of neurosarcoidosis.
And do you think there's an option with this new test to actually benefit other diseases as well?
Definitely. I mean, we may find that multiple sclerosis has a unique signature, if you like, from the tear fluid, or we might find that vasculitis affecting the nervous system, another condition where diagnosis is often difficult and delayed, that might also have a unique signature. That would be the ideal. Whether that will come to fruition, we don't know, but we're very excited to get started and see.
And so what timeline are you working to with this program?
So neurosarcoidosis is a rare condition, so it will take us some time to collect the patients. We'll be working with colleagues nationally in order to try and do that in a timely manner. The first thing to do will be to collect the samples, then to quantify them, and then hopefully to drill down into those signatures that I mentioned earlier. Overall, that's likely to take us about 12 to 18 months to get all of that data together and analysed, but we'd certainly be hoping to share our progress with you along the way as we go.
Well, I hope you'll come back and tell us more as the progress goes, but we look forward very much to seeing your results in due course. Thank you very much for your time.
Not at all. We'd be delighted to share them with you, and we're very grateful to SarcoidosisUK.
Thank you.